And I do appreciate the amount of research that went into this, but it ain't enough. That's kind of like saying, well, hey, it's Lance McGowan here, and today I'm going to cover the top 15 essential oil companies and why Young Living Essential Oil Company is the best. Well, at least according to this person on a Facebook post. And I wanted to give a special shout out to Evelyn, who emailed me about this link. And so it is actually just a Facebook post that somebody did, and she found it and she was like, hey Lance, can you cover this? And I'm like, yeah. So if you have something you'd like for me to cover, let me know. You can leave it in the comment section below, or you can send me an email at essentialoilsme@gmail.com and we can make it happen in the future. Alright, so just so you can see, this is on Facebook. This is the individual, and I'm just going to read what they wrote about their research on the top 15 essential oil companies, and at the very bottom they say Young Living Essential Oils is the best. Alright. Okay, so here we go. So Amber says, the results are in. She says, I called 15 essential oil companies and asked if I could tour their farms to see how the essential oils are made. Okay, and here's the list of the company, phone number, and answer. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the good things. They did their research. Good. Number two, they did it on multiple companies, not just one. Great. Now, let's talk about the actual findings that she came up with. So number one, Now Essential Oils, she gives their number, and she says they do not grow their own plants. This either means that their oils are made in a lab or they buy plants from random farms. Okay, so she's clearly putting some type of weight, a heavy weight, on owning or having your own farms. And for me, automatically, after all the videos I've done on Young Living and doTERRA, you can check them out. I've done some on the quality and farming and the lawsuit and everything. Owning your own farms doesn't mean much when you don't own a lot of your farms in actuality, number one. And number two, the quality of those plants coming from them have to be tested and then verified and then publicly available, so you can compare the ideal chemical constituents with the particular company's chemical constituents of that essential oil. And if that's not being done, the only metric she's using is, do they own their own farms or not? And it's just like, that's, first of all, one factor, and even that needs to be divided up into many different categories to come to an accurate conclusion. And so I'm just giving you that context because a lot of times people just got the blinders on and they're not thinking about the bigger picture. They're just like, I just want to prove a point. And if they don't own their own farms, then they're bad. And if they do own their own farms, then they're good. And it's just like, hold on. There's a lot more to the story than that. But, oh, you don't want to hear it? Okay, never mind. All right, so, but we'll continue to read what she came up with. The next one is Piping Rock Essential Oils. So I'm learning about some new brands as well. She says she gave their number, so just assume that the number is given on every one of these, so I'm not going to read that off to you, but she says the representative told me no. She did not give me any explanation. Okay. Did you ask for an explanation? I mean, it goes both ways. I'm just saying. Alright, number 3, Oracacia Essential Oils. I have done a video on that, doTERRA versus Oracacia. And if I'm not pronouncing it right, then correct me, but anyways, that's how I pronounce it. She says the rep said they do not grow their own essential oils. She would not give me the names or numbers of the farms where they buy the plants. Alright, so, you know, there's exclusivity, there may be some proprietary information when it comes to how things are sourced or where it comes from, so for her to ask that is kind of like asking for business intelligence or specific proprietary business knowledge, and you know, that may be a little bit too much. And she may be like, well, Young Living's farms, you can go visit them, and you know, Mona, Utah, or you go, you know, right outside of Salt Lake. And it's just like, well, first of all, the elevation, the soil, the climate, the sun, you know, the actual where it's grown, the chemical constituents that the plant has, as well as a lot of other factors have to be built in order to say lavender in Salt Lake City is better than lavender grown in, you know, France or wherever. Okay, so we got come on now, we got the main thing to look at is chemical constituents, not just do you own your own farms or not, because we gotta get down to the details, the nitty gritty. Okay, number 4, Animal EO. Never heard of them. She says their mailbox was full. Laughy emoji. Alright, number 5. Mountain Rose Herbs Essential Oils gave their number. She says the rep said I cannot see the farms because their plants are sourced. She would not give me the name or numbers of the farms so I could ask them. Okay? Even if you got the information for the farms, are you going to go visit them if they're in a different state or if they're in a different country? I mean, like, and even if you visit the farms, what does that prove? Okay, they have farms, whether you own them or not. You still got to look at the chemical constituents of the plant and compare that to an ideal chemical constituent profile of that plant. So you have to look at what an ideal lemon looks like without pesticides, without herbicides, without alcohol solvents, without contaminants, without fillers, and it has the optimal amount of positive chemical constituents that make it beneficial for health purposes. And then you got to look at what the actual plant that you pulled from the ground or the oil extracted and where that compares to that ideal chemical constituent profile. You may be like, dang, Lance, there's this much involved? Yes. And this is just touching the surface of everything. This isn't even the types of tests. And I mean, it's a lot, you know? So again, we got to have complete information, accurate information, and interpret those two things properly so we can come to an accurate conclusion. I mean, that's 4 elements right there that ain't really here, but we're going to continue though. She did her due diligence in at least calling these companies, and you know, now you're aware that these companies exist, and you can say, great job calling people and finding out they don't have their own farms or wouldn't answer the phone. Alright, so next is Eden's Garden essential oils. I have done a video on them, comparing doTERRA as well, and she says the website said to not take the oils internally. Young Living has an entire line of vitality oils that are labeled to take internally, but the non-vitality ones aren't. So let's be clear, so we got to make sure we're complete information, right? Alright, and she says the rep said that she never had received a question like that before and asked to place me on hold. She returned to tell me that they do not own any of their farms and that I cannot call those farms. So the real question when it comes to ownership or not is when those farms are owned, again, what's the quality of the oils coming out of there? That's number one. And if they don't own their own farms, then what's the exclusivity of that with other companies? And so doTERRA talks about an 84% exclusivity on their Source to You website, which has been increased at last convention. I think it was like in the upper 90s, and then they're going to try to move towards 100% exclusivity with the growers of all their essential oils. They're working towards that. And so what is Young Living's number? So that number has not been mentioned anywhere in here. They say, okay, Young Living owns their own farms, but what percent? Because the lawsuit outcome stated a very small percent based on the output of the oils coming from that company. So we got to look at a lot of stuff, you know, and it's not just, again, own their own farms, you know. So let's keep it moving. Number 7 is One Pure Essential Oils. Haven't heard of them before. She says only available by email. They did not respond to my message. How much time did you give them to respond? Okay, alright. Number 8, Healing Solutions Essential Oils. Have never heard of them. She says the rep had to place me on hold. He returned to say that I cannot see the farms. He said that the company is not equipped for face-to-face consultations. Okay. Number 9, Gurunanda Essential Oils. Hopefully I pronounced that right. The rep told me that they source their oils and that I cannot see the farms. So my brother actually got these oils, and I was just like, what did you do that for? Because he had bought doTERRA from me in the past, and I'm just like, I got a video planned on that in the future. So, but anyways, that's a whole nother topic. Number 10 is Plant Therapy Essential Oils, which I have done a video, doTERRA comparing Plant Therapy Essential Oils. And she says the rep told me that they do not own their own farms, and I would not be able to take a tour to see the plants or oils be made. Number 11, Rocky Mountain Essential Oils. She says the rep said that they do not own their own farms, and I quoted, "We do not have any direct correlation with the farms, so it would be impossible for us to set anything up." Okay. Next is, that's right, doTERRA Essential Oils. Number 12, and she says the rep had to place me on hold. He said that I can only come on tours that are offered Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:30, 12:30, and 2:30. I told him that did not work with my schedule. Okay, you gotta be willing to go. If you can't go, then... Alright, and she says, and he was not sure how to respond. And then she put in little stars and sparkles, edit. After receiving more questions, I called doTERRA again on February 8th and 10:03 a.m. And she says, doTERRA does not let people tour the farms. She put that in all caps. She says the dates and times listed above are only to tour the headquarters, not the farms. That's in all caps still. They told me I cannot see the farms. And this is because doTERRA focuses on sourcing their oils from where they're indigenously or best grown to produce the best chemical constituent profiles of the plant to ensure the highest quality, because when you get the higher quality, you get more consistent results. And if you get more consistent results, you have a more positive experience. And doTERRA focuses on not having contaminants, fillers, pesticides, herbicides, or alcohol solvents in their essential oils to ensure their quality is up there. And so to tour the headquarters is really nice. It's a beautiful campus. But to say, oh, I can't visit their farms, well, they must be a bad essential oil company, is operating on some false premises and other things that aren't looking at, again, the bigger picture. We have to look at a lot of stuff to make sure we're coming to an accurate conclusion. And owning the farms is not a very important aspect of that, is in my opinion, and based on fact-based information on quality and indigenously grown plants and how you know that the quality can be backed up by all of that, by the test results. So did I see anywhere in here that Young Living publicly publishes their results for their tests for their oils on anything? No, it isn't available. So how do we know that your quality is there? Because where the plants are sourced is the beginning stage of the supply chain. The actual output of the oils is the end stage. That's what we need to know about all of it, but we can't just focus on one end. All right, let's continue. 13, Jade Bloom Essential Oils. After listening to a long message, they do not take phone calls. I emailed and asked them to see the farms. They have not returned my email. Number 14, Melaleuca Essential Oils. I've done numerous videos on Melaleuca Essential Oils. I've had people contact me. I've been to meetings. Good night. It's been covered. Melaleuca Essential Oils is not just an essential oil, but it's a company, so Melaleuca Wellness Company to be specific. And she says Mindy Buddha actually made this phone call. Not sure who that is, maybe their friend, I don't know. She said that the rep told her that there are no farms from Mindy to tour. The rep said that she doesn't know where the farms are and cannot give any other information. Okay, again, knowing where the farms are at may be proprietary information, or maybe because they're using a third-party company to source them and they don't want to reveal that information, because that is proprietary, that is business intelligence. So that could, and if they are sourcing from a third party, that which most companies do, especially either from a volume standpoint or number of oil standpoint, you gotta look at a lot of different categories besides just they get it from somebody else. Is it the quantity? Is it the number of suppliers? Is it the number of plant types? Like how often? How long? I mean, a lot of factors. Anyways, number 15 is Ananda Apothecary. Apothecary, yes. She says the rep said they do not own their own farms and they buy from a third party. And then number 16, which they added, I guess, on the other 15, is Young Living Essential Oils. That's right. She says, I called and pretended to be someone who is interested in the oils, but cannot yet a member. She says, I called and pretended to be someone who is interested in the oils, but not yet a member. I was directed to the visitor center, gives that number. I was told that I do not need a tour guide or anyone with me while I tour the farms. The farms are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, 9 to 5, and closed on Sunday. She said, I can also tour the distilleries where the plants are made into oils. She says, I feel like these results speak for themselves. No, they don't, but okay, if you believe that, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, she says, I was very emotional after making all of these phone calls and getting answers. Okay. I understand, this could be an emotional thing. There is an oil for that. Number 2, we need to, not use our emotions to make decisions. We need to make decisions where we've learned from our emotions. Some knowledge is we're getting deep now, all right? We're getting deep. Okay, but here's what she says. She's got a whole slew of questions here now. She's just like laying it on thick. I'm going to just ask these and you can answer them in your head as I read them along. Okay, so she says, why do some companies not know where their farms are? Because they're from third parties in most cases. Why wouldn't they give me a phone number? Because that's proprietary information. Why do some companies not have anything to do with how their plants are grown? Because they're third party and that particular customer service department may not have access to that information either. For the next question, why was I given an answer of no? Because you're not an employee and that could be proprietary information. Why can't I ingest something that is made from plants? Maybe you should ask why the non-vitality line of essential oils from Young Living can't be taken internally when doTERRA's line of the same plant type can be. For example, lemon oil from Young Living, that's not a vitality oil. Why does it not say can be taken internally? And you also have to look at, is there a supplement facts on there where it can be taken internally? Is it third party tested to ensure the quality's there? You know, there's a lot of reasons why you can't take something internally. I know the aromatherapists and the, anti-MLMers and people who are against internal use of essential oils will be like, no, never. And it's just like, it depends. I've done videos on it. All right, anyways, why do some oil companies make their oils in labs and not from plants? Usually to save money. And if they don't provide testing or publicly available testing results, then they can get away with it because people are saying, well, that oil's too expensive, so I'm going to buy the cheaper stuff. Well, the cheaper stuff is typically has a lot of, crap in it. So anyways, why can't I only visit a farm with a tour guide? Why can't I go by myself? Maybe liability reasons. You need a tour guide if you're going to go on a tour. That's why they're called a tour guide. It's not called a self-guided tour. Okay, anyways. She says, why did every company claims to set the standard and have the highest quality oils available, but they had no part in farming the plants? They have a part, but they're not telling you what that part is because either they're not vertically integrated or they're sourcing it from third parties, and they don't just give that out to the public. And honestly, and that customer service rep may not even have that information available. That's more of like the supply chain department or the purchasing department. So you're calling customer service, not the purchasing department, not the supply chain department, not the operations. So there's a big difference. All right, and again, that's proprietary information that they probably don't want to give because those third parties are probably giving it to a lot of other people. You know what I'm saying? You give a lot of information to the public, then it's just like, oh, what are you going to start your own company? Or like what's up? You're giving secrets away. Like that's why that's why companies come out with trademarks and patents and copyrights, because they try to protect their brand or protect what they have. I'm not saying that's good or bad or indifferent. I'm just saying that's a reasonable response as to why you're not getting your answer, your answers to your questions. All right. She says, why don't the employees know where or how the product is made? I already covered that. That's more of a sourcing department question or purchasing department question, not customer service department. She says, how can you sell something to someone knowing that they are going to put it on themselves / their kids and not know anything about it? Well, that's why there are, in doTERRA Wellness Advocates and Young Living, there's distributors to hopefully they educate people on the benefits and uses on how to use oils properly. YouTube is obviously one medium to do that. There's other mediums with in-person classes, one-on-ones, group classes, a lot of stuff. And so are you expecting the customer service rep to educate you? Or I'm not really sure that question's going, but anyways. Then she comes to this conclusion here. She says, this is proof that Young Living is the best. Because you called 15 companies and couldn't verify if they own their own farms or not. That is inconclusive evidence. That is not. If you got anything from watching this whole video, hopefully you are writing down like, all right, so we need to look at the GCMS test results. We need to look at the third-party testing. We need to look at the quality of the oils. For contaminants, fillers, pesticides, herbicides, alcohol solvents. We need to look, there's a list of stuff that we need to look at. We still got the company history. We got, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we need to look at before we say this is the best. But the best is very subjective anyways, even if you are looking at all that. So here we go. She says, if you don't believe me, feel free to call the numbers. Thanks, Sarah, for this post. Had to share. And then she says, these photos were taken at 4 of Young Living's farms. Feel free to take a tour. So they have some, there we go. Anyways, hold on. There we go, more pictures. Alright, there you go. You have that information there. So what are the lessons learned of today's post and video? Well, I kind of already said it, but there's a lot of factors to consider when saying something's the best. And even if you say something's the best, it's going to be very subjective because not everyone's going to agree with all the factors you use. She only used one main factor. Do they own their own farms or not? And did they answer my phone call and know what the heck they were talking about? And yes, credibility is boosted when they do have an answer for stuff. But at the end of the day, if in your mind you have the predisposition or presumption that Young Living Essential Oils is the best, then anything that contradicts that is automatically going to be discounted. That's what a predisposition is. You're discounting something in advance. And so she already had the conclusion that she wanted to come to. I can visit the farms of Young Living, and Young Living is the best. Period. Nobody else can do that. And I'm saying that's not enough information. We gotta look at a lot of other stuff. Come on now. Let's be real. Let's be reasonable on this. And I do appreciate the amount of research that went into this, but it ain't enough. That's kind of like saying, well, I don't know. It's kind of like saying all the parts of my car were made in the United States, so therefore I have the best car, brand, and manufacturer in the world. And it's just like, first of all, how do you know? I mean, there's like thousands of, if not tens of thousands of parts in a car, and just because they're made in the US doesn't automatically make them better. It doesn't automatically make them worse. I mean, we gotta look at the tolerance levels, defects, reliability scores, maybe from Consumer Reports, testimonies from people, testing. Like, there's a lot of stuff. But that's kind of like what it's saying is like, well, they own their own farm, so they're the best. Anyways, what do you think? Do you think that Young Living is the best? Do you think that there's another company that you like better? Do you think that there should be more factors into coming to that conclusion? Do you think there should be less factors? It should just be one thing, Lance, just one thing, and it's the best. I don't know. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button if you did. Share this video with somebody that would benefit from it. And most importantly, check out the links in the description below so you can continue to get your learn on. And I'll see you in the next video.